Coming up, useful headlight washers.
That's great.
I count.
18. Why?
And Project Chicago meets German TÜV.
Oof. You could fry an egg on that letter. So let's protect the ties. That's how you enter Alpina. That's been sitting in sun and has no AC. Schneller!
Welcome back to the 12th installment of Project Chicago, the episode where the jolly Alpina B7 is going to face its main obstacle before we can finally register it and put it back on the road, the German TÜV inspection.
The radio. This being an import car means we have to do the big TÜV inspection, or the TÜV 21, where they pretty much go over the entire car and make sure it fulfills European and German standards and regulations. So one of the big things they look at, especially if the car is imported from the United States, are the headlights. US spec headlights and European ones are different, of course, and there are markings on the housing and the lens itself that can tell the inspector which spec they are. So we need to replace these guys. Same goes with the taillights. Then safety things like good wiper blades, working windshield washer pump. The tires, of course, need to be good. Brakes need to be good. It can't have any major oil leaks. You can't have any play in the suspension. You can't have any torn or ripped ball joints. Same goes with the bushings. And they actually have a machine on which they put the car on and they shake the entire front end and they can listen and look for any unusual activity going on there. Then can't have any cracks in the windshield. Basically anything that's related with the safety aspect of the car and it being used on the road, they're gonna look at that. It's quite detailed, but I actually really like that because we have the Autobahn in Germany and the only way to make it possible to drive such car with no speed limits is to make sure it's in good condition. So in my book, it's a very good thing. That being said, they cannot take things apart. They cannot remove your shock and tell you it's bad. Like with E60 M5, they can only visually inspect it. If it doesn't have any leaks, it's going to pass. So in this car, I know that the shocks are not good. They're pretty bad actually, but they're not leaking, so we shouldn't have any problems with that. That being said, let's start with the headlights. In order to remove the headlights, we need to remove the bumper first. These headlights are actually really bad. I drove the car at night and you can barely see anything. The projectors are completely burned. And that's, well, another reason why we need to replace them. Before I pull the headlight out, let's quickly test if the headlight washers are working. Yeah, the wipers are still brilliant. Oh! There was noise, but that's about it, nothing else. So that is a 9. They're not working. All right, so I unhooked the line here. Oh, result. So it seems that these guys are bad. Let me unhook the line here as well. Anything here? Oh yeah. So these are not working. So let's see if we can fix it. Take one off and experiment. Nada? Seriously? Maybe the pump is weak, I don't know. All right, I have a brand new pump as well, so we'll replace that. Say hello to a small fortune. Brand spanking new parts. We have OE Hella headlights, and because the taillights are not available as OE, I had to go genuine. I bought these directly from B&W. And I got them from a nice subscriber named Daniel. He works for Autohaus Melkus from Dresden. So they gave me a small discount on these. But still, I decided to raise from my mind how much these cost, because it was a lot of money. Beautiful, nonetheless. The headlights, they're about 500 euros each, which is a pretty decent deal considering they're xenon adaptive headlights. And Hella makes these headlights for B&W, hence the OE part. Now I need to transfer some bulbs and ballast and stuff, so let's crack on with that. It even comes with a brand new bracket, so let's remove that first. We'll use that because it's fresh and new. But now let me show you the difference. This is what the inspector will look for. See how it says DOT US? That makes them US spec headlights. And then stuff here on the lens as well. See, it says Hella. And if you come to the brand new one, it says ECE. which stands for some European regulations. More markings on the lens here, HELA as well. And another thing worth mentioning, these are OE headlights, as in original equipment, and these are original or genuine headlights. They have a B&W stamp over there. These have it scraped off, and that's because HELA has a contract with B&W. They make these parts for them, but only if you buy directly from the dealer, you're gonna get this stamp. Otherwise, if you buy directly from HELA, it comes scraped off. Same goes with the markings inside. It says B&W Dynamic Xenon over there, and here it says HELA Xenon. Otherwise, on the left side, the writing is exactly the same, and the headlight inside and everything identical, no difference whatsoever. Now I need to transfer a couple of things: xenon ballast and adaptive control unit. And I bought, oh, the wiring is done as well inside. Look at that, completely cracked. So these headlights are done. A couple of people asked me if I want to sell them. I mean, what are you going to do with this? They need to be completely refurbished. They're US headlights, so you can't use them in Europe. I'll just leave them for spare parts or something. Let's see the bulbs for the angel eyes. So these are plain yellow bulbs, which I don't like. So we're going to put LEDs in here and make them white. I got these on eBay, Sitronic, some German company selling these, and I'm running the same stuff on my M5, and I quite like them. The quality seems pretty decent, and the light output is pretty great as well, and they don't give any errors either. So pop them in, hook them up, tuck it inside. Oh, nice. They've already used silver turn signal bulbs, which I quite like. Here as well, the high beams comes with a bulb as well, but what sort of bulb? All right, these are just plain H7 bulbs. So you're gonna go with night breakers. Do not touch the lens with your fingers. And the xenon bulb does not come with one. Night breakers, been using Osram bulbs for quite a long time now, more than 4 years in my M5, and they're still working wonderfully. That's the xenon bulb in, and this headlight is ready. Before we reinstall the headlight, we're gonna remove this bracket, and then I can replace the pumps, the headlight washer pump and the windshield washer pump. We also need to replace this tube here for the windshield washer bottle. I can't explain what happened there. Someone was hungry, took a bite, I don't know. So now I'm gonna unbolt the bottle, swing it out of the way so I can remove that tube and replace the two pumps on the back. Ooh, there's a nut there. Frame a sugar nut. Come in. Oh, there it comes. It stinks! I'm gonna have to remove the entire bottle because it's very filthy inside and I want to clean it. Sensor, of course. These are the two brand new pumps. Let's remove this one as well. Jeez. So I'm gonna go and wash this thing because the water inside is pretty disgusting. That's now nice and clean. Brand new pump. Plug that in. Then this thing. Yuck, that's disgusting. That's nice and clean. And we can reinstall this. Of course, a spot of cleaning is needed first. That's it, a little bit cleaner. Brand new tube for filling the washer bottle. Silicone spray. Perfect. Zip ties. I think that should be enough to see if the windshield washer pump is working. Oh, indeed. And these are integrated into the wipers. It's a nice design. So you're not gonna fail the inspection for that. The old pump was dead, so I'm gonna try and clean these headlight washers. Ah! Whoa! You piece of... Oh yeah, these are brilliant. It seems that with IMPA you can activate the headlight washers and bleed the lines. Headlight cleaning system, F4 active. Switch on. That's great. Ain't that something? Anyway, that's good enough to pass TÜV. And I'm gonna go ahead and order new headlight washers because that's ridiculous. Everything is covered in windshield washer fluid now. Parking lights. Now that's pretty tasty. Flash to pass. And the high beam. Indicator. Yep. Everything is working totally fine. As per usual, we gotta clean first. There's nothing wrong with the engine lights when they're flashing like that. That's just because of the LED bulbs. They take very low voltage to activate, and sometimes you get that. They flash and then it goes away. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. High beam working well as well. The fog lights are in horrible state as well, so we're gonna replace them too. Brand new Hella fog lights. Can you tell which one is which? As soon as we're done with TÜV, this bumper is gonna come off again and I'm gonna drop it off for paint. Let's see if the fog lights work. Working. Brilliant. I realize now why these spray like crap. Both of them are missing jets or the nozzles at the very top, and that's why they're spraying all over the place. Unfortunately, you can't order just that. I have to order complete new washers, and we'll replace them once we remove the bumper again for paint. And I know what you're thinking right about now. Why don't you put protective film on the brand new headlights? I would love to do that, but I can't because Germany, it's illegal to do that here. I wouldn't pass TÜV inspection. I can maybe do it after, but then if I get pulled over and they find a film on it, I can get a fine. But to be honest with you, I think it might be worth it because if you remember, I installed brand new headlights on Project Raleigh E60M5 and I already see some rock chips here and there. And that's really annoying because the headlights are very expensive. So I don't know, I'll see what I'll do. For now, we're gonna clean them and apply ceramic coating. We have ceramic coating from Geon, so I'm not going to use alcohol because I'm afraid it might do something to the plastic, so I'm just using plain window cleaner, glass cleaner. Apply it. And then apply it on the headlight. Easy peasy. Leave that for a few minutes. And that's ceramic coating applied. It looks absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to do the rest of the car. Now the taillights, these are actually in pretty awful condition, especially the inner ones. Really weathered, and this one is actually cracked here from the sun. Pretty impressive. This one has a huge crack here as well. The one that's somewhat usable is the left one, but that has scratches and stuff, and given that it's US spec taillight, you can't use it in Europe anyway. 3 nuts holding this thing in place. You know what we need to do, right? So massive crack there, a few here as well, there too. Now the inner taillights, will I need to take this complete plastic off? Probably. We have a screw there. That should give us enough space. Oh. Oh, don't tell me the plastic thing has to come out as well. Yep. We have new one of this. I have a European license plate holder that we need to paint and then we can install it. So for now, we're not gonna remove this one. Ow, ow. Oh, wait a minute. So there's a handle here to open the trunk. So in case your pimp kidnaps you, pull that handle and get out. Look at that crack. Samuel Crackson. No! I was kidding. Now we gotta do this trim here. Real OEM calls it trunk lid finisher. There it is. Now it clipped in. Lights for the rear license plate. Unfortunately, there is no OE original LED option for this model, E65, E66, unlike the E60. So I purchased aftermarket ones, which I generally really hate because they are too bright. Once you put them on the car, the whole rear end of the car is shining like a huge beam, and I hate that. That being said, I'm gonna give them a try, see if that's the case. If it is, then I'm just gonna put back the original ones. So let's pop one and compare. Turn on the lights. Any errors for the lights? Nope. All right, we have a problem. The right taillight is not working. Looks like we need coating after all. On the right headlight, the LEDs are not working, and also the rear fog light is not working. So I'm gonna get Ollie from OE Motors online, and he's gonna do the coating real quickly. Unfortunately, the coating didn't help. We changed the car from US spec to German spec, and the parking lights, the LEDs are still not working on the brand new taillight. This is the old one, and as you can see, they're working. Well, at least two of the stripes, two are dead. And I even tried exchanging the small board on the back, put that on the brand new taillight. No change. The brakes are working, the turn signals are working, but the LED stripes are not working. And I think that taillight is bad out of the box. And that's really frustrating because it's very expensive and I needed that part in order to go to TÜV. I can't go without parking lights. So now I have to talk to Daniel and see if that part can be sent back under warranty. But I've been having some issues with BMW regarding parts and warranty. Do you know what this is? This is a brand new fuel pump that I installed on my E39 M5. Bought it directly from the dealer, 290 euros. It was bad out of the box. I put it in the car, and that was when I did that video, and I think first we went for a drive and then I replaced the pump after the drive. After that I went on the Autobahn and the car was had no power. It was sputtering after 3000 RPM. I couldn't even drive it. No check engine light, and I immediately thought it has to be the fuel pump. So I put back the old fuel pump that worked fine. No issues whatsoever. The car is working totally fine. Then I went to the dealer and told them, hey, this is bad. I want you to warranty this thing. And they told me, nope, doesn't work like that. You have to put this back into the car, drive the car back to the dealer, to their service department, and they need to troubleshoot and say, yeah, that's bad, we can give you the money back. That really pissed me off. And that's how every single dealership, I think even in the United States, in Germany for sure, works. So now I'm stuck because I told them like no one is gonna touch my car. I'm not taking it to the dealer, and that's just stupid, wasting time like that. I mean, the thing doesn't work. You can send it back to the manufacturer. B&W doesn't make this, and I didn't buy the service from them to install this part. I just bought the part from them. But nonetheless, I wasted 300 euros. I have a bad fuel pump, and there's nothing I can do about that. That's the world we live in. Just absolutely incredible. And the fog lights are working. They're wired in properly. I just have to run one wire from the light switch to the light module, and then the button on the dash will work. And also, this is why I don't like aftermarket LED license plate lights. Look how much light that thing is producing. The whole rear end of the car is lighting up, and as well the concrete and everything. And this is just one of them. Imagine if I put the second one here. So this is coming off. I don't like it one bit. Here are the original LED license plate lights from the F10 model mounted on the E60. And look at that. They look beautiful. They're not shining way too bright, and they're just lighting up the license plate, nothing else. While with the aftermarket stuff, the whole rear end is just lit up. And I hate that. I just looked, and the original ones, they only have 2 LEDs. The aftermarket ones have 18. Why? Why does it need 18? This is the F10 LEDs that I'm running on the E60, and this is a genuine part, original B&W part that only has 2 LEDs inside. And unfortunately, they can't fit here. They're too big. There's not enough space to mount them. So yellow lights it is. So at least I'm gonna put fresh bulbs in. The taillights look beautiful. I really like the rear end of this car. I talked to Daniel, and they're sending me a new replacement taillight, and this is why I'll keep buying from them in the future, because I know this is not their fault. It's just the quality of brand new parts is crap. And as I said, not the first time I had a bad original part straight out of the box. So we'll see what happens when the replacement one comes in. And I'm not going to ceramic coat them now, because they come in a very crappy packaging, basically just wrapped in some paper and foam and thrown into the box. So they already have scratches and swirls. So I'm gonna let the guys from Geon polish them and ceramic coat them with the rest of the car. And now, the side blinkers. They are pretty shot as well, as you can see. Just falling apart. Oh, I made this mistake once. I let the cable drop in, and then it took me 15 years to get it out. So we're gonna do this. Tape it so it can't go back in on its own. Naturally, these are not available as OE, so I had to get them directly from the dealer. That would be 50 euro per side, sir. Very much. So we're gonna replace the yellow bulbs with chrome ones from Osram. Working beautifully and looking fresh. Lovely. The wiper blades, they're actually quite good. Not annoying at all. I'm sure there's another 10,000 kilometers in them, but we'll swap them anyway. Then the windshield cowl, it's in horrific state. It's crumbling apart, and we need to replace it as well. And at the same time, I want to paint the wiper arms because they're faded and not looking very good either. Use some tape to mark the position of the wiper arm. Well, that was very loose. I think now I need to punch it with my purse. I think I have some sort of puller here. Is it working? Yes, it is. Uh-oh, dropped something. Oh. Ooh. One. Ah, popped off. Well, I can't use the tool. Do you want a pry bar? I will get the pry bar. It's a good thing we're replacing the windshield cowl. There should be clips holding this thing in place. Remove that. Want to take a guess what's in this massive box? No. It's a brand new windshield cowl. Oh, it comes with clips. How nice. And on top of that, we have a luxury creeper here that we can use later for something. Here's the new one, and here's the old one. Or is it the other way around? First, let's prep these for a high-end paint job, and while that is drying, we can mess around with the windshield cowl. Degrease it. All right, let's go to the paint booth. Final wipe. Bit of semi-gloss paint. Gonna leave that to dry and come back to it later. All right, I've changed my mind. I'm gonna paint this thing as well. It's already discolored and it doesn't look that good, so I take it one wash and it's gonna look pale, and I don't like that, so let's take it off. So let me prep it first. See, it already looks like crap. That didn't turn out so well because I didn't use any primer underneath, and when I started folding these corners here, the paint started to crack. So I removed all of the paint. Now we're gonna use plastic primer first and then repaint it a couple of layers, and that should give us the flexibility that we need to reinstall this thing. That's already looking so much better. Now that looks much better. Wouldn't you agree? And it's going to stay like that for an extended period of time. I know that because if you remember, we painted the trim on E46 Project Cologne, and let me show you what that looks like. We painted this trim like 2 years ago, and it still looks nice. The car is filthy, but you can see that the trim is still looking semi-glossy. On the bumper over there, you can see it as well. Doesn't look faded. Connect the pipe. You can see it's beautifully installed, tucked in nicely in the corners. You don't want any gaps or any weird misalignment. And same dealio here as well. If you're painting this thing, definitely use plastic primer first and then paint. I think I used the same stuff on Project Cologne. It's just been a while, so I forgot. But as soon as I use this stuff and then paint, the corners are flexible and the paint is not chipping off. The wiper arms are looking nice and fresh as well. So let's put some brand new wiper blades on them. I don't know, that seems too low to me. Ooh, there goes the skin. Who needs that? Oh yeah, that's a big chunk missing now. Every time. I don't know why I don't wear gloves when I hurt myself every single time when I don't wear them. Perfect, you can almost see the bone. All right, I'm patched. So now I'm gonna activate them once, just to make sure they're not hitting each other. Perfect. Yep. Connect the connector, the cover. Finally the cap. And we're done. Small difference, small details, but in the end, it'll actually make a huge difference for the overall look of the car once the rest of it is sorted as well. Very happy how this turned out. We also have this seal on the bottom of the rear windshield. That's kaput. Yeah. I have a brand new one, so let's clean it first and then pop it in. So here's the brand new seal. So we'll need to lift this one up. All right, that easy task is done as well. In US, for whatever reason, the cars are not required to have rear fog lights. In Europe, there are, and actually the car comes with them from the factory, but because it was sold in the market in which it wasn't required, BMW didn't bother to make this button do anything. So we have a button for front fog lights, this is for the rear ones, and now we have European taillights that have fog lights in them, but when I press this button, it doesn't do anything. And all we need to do to make it work is run one wire from this button to the light module. So let's do that. Someone is grilling something and it smells really nice. Make sure you put this somewhere where you'll step on it and break it. Don't need that either. What is going on? There's a screw. There's a clip. Let go. It's out. We need to run the wire from pin 8 on the light control switch to pin 33 on the light module. So I have an old connector here and I'm gonna try and salvage pins from it. One pin coming out. I'm gonna go to the table to get the heat gun. That's the wire ready. Let me get to the light control module connector. We need pin 33. 33 is empty. So let's plug it in. Pin number, what did I say? 8? Think so. And let's test it. Turn the lights on. Yes. And now when I press the rear fog light button, it lights up in the cluster. And when we go to the rear of the car, we can see that the fog lights are working. Very easy and very simple. Now we just need to put everything back together. The pickup style shifter has been broken since the day I bought the car. And now we're gonna deploy super glue skills and fix it. Yep, a little bit there, perhaps there as well. Bit of tape. And leave that to dry. Another thing that doesn't work here and that unfortunately we can't fix with super glue, blower fan. I can crank it all the way up and nothing happens. So 3 things can cause this: the climate control module itself, the blower resistor, or the blower motor. And I don't feel like doing dashboard crawling again, so we're gonna start with the control module here, this entire panel. I bought one off eBay, it was rather cheap. If it turns out that's not our issue, then I have to take apart everything underneath the dash and get to the resistor and the blower motor. I have all of the parts, so we're gonna eliminate one by one, and whatever fixes our issue, the rest of the parts I can send back. We need to remove this entire trim here. So now there should be some screws holding this thing in place, but there are none, because whoever was in here didn't put them back. Searching like crazy to find different wood trim for this car. Turns out it's very difficult. Okay, we have access to the connectors in the back, so let me grab the new unit. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to do the dashboard crawl. All right, that's the replacement unit hooked up. Let's see, will it be that easy? Nope. Of course it's not gonna be that easy. That being said, the replacement panel that I got seems in better shape than the old one. All right, let's crawl underneath the dashboard. Again, put this somewhere where you can step on it. ¿Dónde estás, amigo? Wait a minute, there's a piece of paper here. That's for the fuse panel. Hopefully I'm undoing the right thing. Might need to remove that panel there as well. So get this incredibly long trim out of the way as well. And there's foam, of course. Oh, more foam, perfect. I can see now why no one bothered to fix the climate controls in this car and the blower fan. There must be some sort of record for how long this screw is. Why did they need to use 16 million screws to hold the piece of plastic in place? Oh my! It seems we have a bit of an issue here. The hell happened here, sir? I think I found the issue. But I still can't get to that screw. I think everything is going to hurt tomorrow after doing this. So that's what's left of the blower resistor. It's cooked. And then we have a transistor or whatever that is stuck there. Yeah, it's crispy. Look at that. That's properly bad. I mean, the whole car could have went up in flames. Here's the new one, and that's the old one, or what's left of it. That's pretty bad. Thankfully, the car didn't burn down. The fuse must have popped, and it's the original part, bare from 2007. We're also using OE part, Male bare. Let's pop that in and see if it fixes our issue, and I have to check the fuses. I think I already did that, but I'll check them again. All right. I think stuff is happening. Yes, we have dust in our face, which means the fans are working. But it's making a very annoying sound. So I think we're gonna have to replace that thing after all. Can you hear that? That's gonna drive me nuts. I also need to replace the blower motor in the 60 because it's squeaking like crazy. So I think we're gonna replace the blower motor. I have a brand new part, so might as well. All right, looks fairly straightforward to take it out. Here's the brand new blower fan, OE Male. All right. Nice and quiet. Once we put the foam and stuff in there, we won't be able to hear it at all. Let's see if the super glue is holding. Yep. Nice and firm. Nice. We're making pretty good progress so far. Fixing things left and right. All right, it's time to go home, eat dinner, and then we'll continue tomorrow. In the previous episode, we diagnosed that the AC compressor is making really ugly sound. Sounds like scraping, dragging noise. And as soon as I took the AC belt off, the noise was completely gone. So now we're going to replace the AC compressor. Then we need to check for leaks and see if the system is holding vacuum. If yes, then we can proceed and recharge the AC system. Very much looking forward to that. It's summer and we need AC. First, we need to unbolt the two lines on the AC compressor. So everything needs to come out on this side of the engine bay. Plug the sensor. Put this on the side. There you can see two lines that we need to disconnect. All right, got it. Second line disconnected. And this is with how much space we are working with. All right, one bolt is out. Second one is out. Let's unbolt the sway bar. All right. Should give us a bit more space to pull it out. It's still a very tight fit. And this is all because of the intercooler supercharger piping. Here's the compressor. Doesn't sound too bad when you spin it by hand, but obviously it's making a lot of noise once spinning at high RPM. Normally you can just replace the bearing inside this pulley and that's gonna take care of that issue. But there's another bearing inside the compressor that can also go bad. And I don't wanna do this job twice. It's very difficult to remove this compressor and put it back in. So I opted to go for a brand new one. OE Denso as well. The old one is made by Denso too. All right, now I'm gonna drain whatever oil is inside this compressor, and then we need to make sure the same amount is in the new one as well. So this is how much oil we have in the old compressor. Now we're gonna drain the oil from the new compressor. This is how much oil we removed from the brand new compressor. This is from the old one. As you can see, huge difference. And this is why you can't simply bolt a brand new compressor and not check this. you can destroy the compressor almost instantly, and the AC is not gonna work because you're gonna have overfilled system. So we need to make sure we put the same amount of oil that we removed from the old one into the new one. But I'm also going to go slightly over because we replaced the AC condenser a few episodes back as well. And since there's oil everywhere in the system, in the condenser, in the lines, so when you replace it, you take some of that oil with you. So we're gonna go slightly over just to make sure we have enough oil in the system. The weight of the empty cup is 8 milliliters or 8 grams. I have 3 just to be sure, so 7, 8. We removed from the old compressor 23 milliliters in total, minus 8, so 15. So I'm gonna clean 1 cup. Brand new bolt and a washer, and this is torqued to 30 millimeters. And now I can turn and cycle the oil in the compressor. Let's first replace the O-rings on the lines and then put that in. Clean first, new O-ring. All right, that's the O-rings installed. I could use one bolt here. Go, 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 go. Just keep it in place. Connect the connector. Connected. Now a little bit of silicone spray on the O-rings. That's it. Now we need to put back the AC belt. First we gotta remove the supercharger belt. All right. Now the water pump belt. If you're looking to get an E65, do get the normal one. Don't get the Alpina. That's my friendly advice. Unless you find a schmuck like me who's gonna fix everything on it, and then you can buy it. Otherwise, everything is more difficult on this car than on a normal one. That being said, this car is going to be up for sale once it's done. That's because I have other plans, other projects, and I'm gonna need the dinero. The belt is on. Time to get this machinery going again. Gonna let it warm up a little bit, see if the AC compressor is making any noise. Then we're gonna turn it off, pull the vacuum on the AC system, and see if we have any leaks. Nice cold start. So far, no noise. It's very good. The old one, you could hear it almost immediately. But this one is quiet so far. All right, the idle went down and the compressor is still nice and quiet. Job well done. Now we just need to make sure there are no leaks and we can recharge the system. Here's my El Cheapo manifold gauge set. Should get the job done. I've used it in the past. We just want to pull the vacuum on the system and make sure it holds, and that way we know it doesn't have any leaks. And I don't waste my time going to the AC guy. And to accompany my El Cheapo manifold gauge set, I have El Cheapo vacuum pump. Can't reach, of course. Need a chair. Here, have a seat. Electricity now. Hi-ya! Turn the pump on. That's the thing whizzing away. Open up the valves. So we're gonna let that work 20-30 minutes. And here you can see that it pulled vacuum. This is low pressure side and this is high pressure side. All right, it's been about 30 minutes, so we can close the valves and turn off the pump. So we pulled the vacuum on the system. Now we're gonna let it sit for about half an hour, then come back, and if these gauges drop to 0, that means we have a leak somewhere and we need to do further repairs. But if it stays exactly like this, that means we are good to go and safe to recharge the AC system. In the meantime, we can go underneath and change the diff oil. Clean around the drain plug and the fill plug. As always, first we need to undo the fill plug. And if you're asking why, I think I already mentioned that, but it's quite simple. If you first remove the drain plug and you drain the oil, and then you come around to fill it up and you can't remove the fill plug, what are you gonna do? You're stuck. So it's always better to loosen up the fill plug first. Changing the differential fluid on Alpina is a bit different than on standard E65 because Alpina has Alpina specific cooling fins. Otherwise the diff is exactly the same. This is an open diff, not LSD, although I think some of them might have had LSDs from Alpina, but this particular car, it's an open diff. We have a drain plug here, fill plug there, and plug screw for checking the fluid level. So first we're gonna open the fill plug, then this screw here, then drain the fluid, refit the drain plug, start filling on the top, and once it stops dripping from this hole here, we know that the fluid level is correct, and we can refit these two plugs as well. Oh, it's so close. Let me see if I can unbolt these two lines. So on normally 65, I believe the fill plug is on the back, so much easier to do. That might give us enough space. Yes, that was the ticket. There we go. Whoa, there's fluid coming out of there. That should not be the case. Not unless it's heavily overfilled. Huh. Whoa, way overfilled. There should be pretty much nothing coming out of that plug. And even says here, there's an error. It says check oil level here, points to this plug. So someone serviced the transmission, and instead of opening this plug here, they were just filling it on this one until the fluid started coming out of this hole and overfilled the diff by a ton. Ain't that something? Because I'm looking at Alpina repair instructions for this. It's not in B&W TS. Perfect. That should do it. Fresh differential fluid from Liquid Moly. We have an open diff, so we are going with 75W90. We're gonna start filling up on the top, and once it stops coming out of this hole, the oil level is correct. In Alpina repair manual, it says it should take around 1.5 liters. All right, now we need to let it drip out. We have exactly 1.5 liters in. Now it's dripping slowly, and that should be it. The torque for this plug is 25 Newton meters. Refit the fill plug. And lastly, clean everything. It's been over an hour. I've been doing some other stuff as well, and as you can see, the gauge didn't move one bit, so it's still holding perfect vacuum, and that's really good news. So tomorrow I'll stop by a shop nearby. They have an AC machine so they can recharge the system, and I'll see on which day I can bring the car over for them to do that. For now, let's move on to the brakes. We have brand new rear brake pads. The current ones are running really low. Fresh brake fluid and new brake lines. I'm willing to bet they were never replaced on that car, and just due to age, I want to replace them because this is a very cheap and important maintenance. You know the saying, bleeding the brakes on a 4-post lift, worse than going to the bathroom without your phone. It's just really boring. So instead, we're gonna do it on the scissor lift, take Project Marbet outside and bring this big turd over here. Think it should clear the ramps, but we'll find out. So this is the widest scissor lift that Benpack has. And I wanted the widest one on purpose, because when working on cars that are big as this one, you can hopefully raise it. Well, not the biggest, the longest. The ramps, there are shorter ones, but because I work on bigger cars most of the time, I needed the longer one. Up it goes. Just verify that the blocks are sitting correctly. Now I need to lower it onto the locks. Pretty convenient for changing the wheels, servicing the brakes, shocks, suspension work, even changing the oil. It's nice and quick. Quite like this lift. That's a big one. That's not super thin, but thin enough to warrant replacement, especially considering that the brake discs are good. We measured them in the previous episode. We want them to stay like that, so we're gonna put a fresh set of brake pads. Take the vicious spring out. Remove the caps. Pretty thin. So never do this. Never let the brake caliper hang by the rubber brake hose. But in our case, I'm replacing this, so it doesn't matter, but I've seen this a million times, people doing this. Just don't do it. Just do this. Put it here. That's all you need to do. And you're not gonna put any stress on the rubber line, especially if it's 15 or so years old. You're just putting more stress on the line than it needs to have. I want to brush the bracket where the pads sit. Plasti lube, apply it on the bracket where the brake pads slide. Just a little bit, not too much. On the inside as well. Apply some on the brake pads as well. So now I need to open the brake fluid reservoir cap, and then we need to compress the piston. Copy paste on the other side. Replacement taillight arrived. Let's plug it in and see what's what. This is the old one. And hey presto! The brand new factory taillight was bad. Here's the replacement one that works absolutely perfect. Let me turn off the radio. Yeah, I fixed the radio, but that's a story for another day because I'm still troubleshooting that. There you have it, folks. Proof that even original parts can have crap quality, and this is not up to BMW, it's up to the manufacturer that makes these taillights for them. And in this case, it's a company called Ulo. They make taillights for the E38 as well, and they're just crap quality in general. They don't last as long, and well, you witnessed this yourself. For example, E39 and E60, they have hella taillights, and they are just phenomenal quality. Finish, fitment, overall quality, how long they last, you can't even compare them to these. But anyway, Daniel, thank you so much. He sent me a brand new taillight within 2 days, and he didn't even argue with me at all. So really appreciate that. Great customer service, my man. And now we're gonna replace the brake lines. Using a proper flare wrench here is a must. Here's the brand new hose, soft and supple. The old one, just old rubber hose. And this is why I always replace it on every single used car that I buy, because people, they never replace this unless they have a problem with it. But preventive maintenance is the key. Now we're gonna flush the brake fluid and bleed the brakes. Slurp up the old brake fluid. That should do it. All right, that's full. Put pressure on the reservoir, 15 psi. We are starting at the furthest corner, rear right. And that's it. brake fluid flush, done. So I'm in a shop around the corner where my Italian friend recharged the AC system on Project Chicago. And it's working beautifully. We have cold air. Can you feel it? Well, you're just gonna have to trust me. It's working beautifully. The fixathon is progressing. Now we have a working AC as well. And next time I see a polar bear hitchhiking, I can give him a lift. Brilliant. How cool is this phone, huh? Put that back in. Leave. Another small thing that we need to fix is the hood is not latching properly. It's not lined up with the fender. And he does that. It's been bugging me ever since I got the car, so let's see if we can fix that. On the other side, it's sitting absolutely perfect. Remove this plastic here. And then do up the hook. Let's do another one. Better, I think, but a bit more. That's more like it. And now the hood is perfectly aligned with the fender and there's no play in the latch. Same deal here as well, sitting nice and flush. I just wanted to mention that the car now has fresh fluids all around. The transmission as well was serviced right before I bought the car. I have an invoice for that with the correct fluid. So in the previous episode off camera, I just made sure that the transmission level is correct, which it is. And now we have fresh diff fluid, brake fluid, coolant is fresh, power steering fluid is fresh, engine oil, we changed that 15 million times, and now AC refrigerant is fresh as well. So the car is good to go. Also, we are ready for the inspection, Monday, 11 o'clock. I'm excited.
Thank you very much.
Vielen Dank. Back from the inspection, got the paperwork here. Yes, I know the hat looks good, but what do you think? Pass or fail? You never know. With TÜV, you never know. But here I have two sweetest German words. If you're a car guy, it says ohne Mängel, which means without defects. And the car passed inspection with flying colors. Good money pit. Man, that makes me happy. When I asked the inspector, alles in Ordnung, I got the familiar, ja klar, everything is new on the car. So he nodded, I nodded, we were both happy. You're happy as well, and everybody's happy. I can't believe it. Feels like forever since I started working on this car. This is its third engine. So many scored cylinders, broken timing chain guides, a nail that we found in the oil pan. Just lots of work, but here we are, huge milestone. It's finally approved for road use in Germany. Next step, registration office, apply for plates, get insurance, which shouldn't take that long. But first, we need to take it inside and take it apart again, because that makes sense. Need to remove the front bumper, rear bumper, and I have European license plate holder for the trunk. Need to drop all of that for paint. Then do the same with the rims. They need to be refurbished. In the meantime, we can start with the interior, make that really pretty. And I have really good news as well there. I've been searching for months for a nice set of wood trim for that interior because the current one it's not looking very good. It's cracked and I don't like the look of it. So I found a set of beautiful wood trim called American Walnut. It's right over there, arrived today. I'll show you that in the next episode. I don't know why I'm so excited about wood trim, but I am. That's gonna go in the next episode. Then we need to do the shocks. And once it's put back together, then we're gonna drive it up to Cologne, where boys from Gian can do their magic and just make it look spiffy on the outside as well. After that, it's pretty much done. I'm also trying to arrange to put it on dyno, see what kind of power it's making. That should be quite interesting. And then just drive, enjoy the car, and eventually sell it. Because there's a lot more projects coming our way. We're gonna need the space and funds as well. I have so much money invested in this car. I'll do the total cost in the end, but it's by far the most I put in one car, I think. I daren't sum it up yet. We'll do that at the end of the project. Anywho, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Lots of small fixes, but that's what you do when you're nearing the end of the project. I actually made a list, so I'm going and fixing everything one by one, because if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it. There's always gonna be some other project or something else in the way. And I just wanna make sure that every single button and detail, inside, outside, under the hood, that everything works as it should. So we're gonna continue doing that in the next episode and finish this car completely. Thank you so much for following along, for watching all of these videos, for commenting, for sharing the love. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. We brought back a very dead car and put it back on the road. And that makes me proud. And not just me, it should make you proud as well, because you're part of this project as much as I am. So thank you so much for that. I'll see you in the next episode. Adios.